you can change the world. Learn from proven change makers from all walks of life. They'll show you how to raise money, invest for impact, and so much more. You can start small. Start today and never quit. You can change the world by strengthening your superpowers. Now, welcome to the Superpowers for Good show. I'm your host, Devin Thorpe. We are so excited to be here tonight. Special 2-hour live show and live pitch hosted by our partners at the nonprofit business accelerator Kinect Capital. We'll hear from 4 entrepreneurs currently raising capital under regulation crowdfunding, meaning that you can actually invest in one or more of these companies during or following the show. The companies include Lilu, Forbes Farmhouse Development Company, Piggyback Network, and Boaz Bikes. These promising companies all feature social impact along with the potential to deliver financial returns. Before we proceed, let me share a brief caution.
This program on investing under regulation crowdfunding is not investment advice. The presenters aren't financial advisors, so attendees should conduct their own research and consult professionals. Investing carries risks without guaranteed returns. Your investment decisions are your own. Seek qualified advice for personal financial queries.
We're really glad that you're here tonight and excited to move forward. If you are new to the Superpowers for Good show, I invite you to join the SuperCrowd community by visiting s4g.biz. Everyone can be involved tonight. You can ask questions of the entrepreneurs. Near the end of the show, we'll let you viewers choose the SuperCrowd pick award recipient. Now, stick around to the end. Grab a device to submit your questions and your vote and even invest. Kinect Capital, our host tonight, is a nonprofit business accelerator with decades of history, having helped entrepreneurs raise billions and billions of dollars. You can donate to support its work at s4g.biz/kcdonate. That's s4g.biz/kcdonate. So please join with us tonight in helping our good friends at Kinect Capital. I want to also now introduce our host. Our host from Kinect Capital is James Kemp, the Executive Director of Kinect Capital, who brings a wealth of experience from his time as a managing partner in consulting and a transformative tenure at Adobe. His expertise in strategic growth, operational management, and team leadership has been instrumental in driving success across various high-stake environments, making him an invaluable asset to the entrepreneurs Kinect Capital supports. With that, James, take it away.
Hello, everybody. It's great to be here tonight, and thank you, Devin. As Devin mentioned, we're with a group called Kinect Capital. We're an organization that's been around for about 40 years. What we do is we identify founders and businesses that have a lot of potential. And then what we do is we match them up with mentors. We have a group of 350 plus mentors in our network that have all agreed to help in a pro bono type fashion. And then as they get their pitches down and they work on the foundations of their business, we then give them opportunities to pitch to various different groups with the intent of obtaining funding and financing for their businesses. And then once they have financing and they're moving forward with their businesses, we continue that mentoring process and we provide them with support and the ability to continue to drive their businesses forward successfully. And this is a little different than my traditional career, but I'm having the time of my life and really enjoying working with founders and entrepreneurs, the spirit that they bring and just the tenacity that they show is inspiring. So I'm looking forward to the founders that are going to be presenting this evening, and can't wait for all of you to see them.
James, why don't you go ahead and introduce your cohorts as judges?
Sure. First up is Tawana Rivers. She's an entrepreneur, investor, and 30-year HR professional. She is the CEO of the 10K Project, a community focused on raising capital from Black founders and educating investors on wealth building. She is the president of Blockchain Investor Group International, aka Big E, and the founder of OEO Holdings, a micro private equity firm that focuses on buying profitable cash flowing businesses. She plans to spend this next phase of her life building wealth for people that have been underrepresented, but also for those who've been unseen. So she is amazing. I've gotten to know her over the last couple of weeks, and just as impressed as can be with her. I also want to introduce Marcia. Marcia is a good friend of mine. We've known each other for a couple of years now, maybe longer than that. She's the managing director at Freedom Capital Markets and oversees the family office division. The majority of her career has been working in and for family businesses or family offices and private deal makers. Marcia serves as chair of the board of Kinect Capital, which I mentioned before, a Utah-based nonprofit early stage accelerator. And she's my good friend and my boss, I guess, if you could put it that way. And so I just really enjoy working with her. She is the past president of ACG New York, an Association for Middle Market Deal Making Professionals, and is a member of the Dealmaker Hers, an exclusive network of leading female deal makers in the retail and consumer marketplace, and just a wonderful, genuine, fantastic person that's dedicated to helping people and helping their businesses be successful. So couldn't be happier to introduce both of these folks.
Well, thank you, James. I really appreciate that. We're excited. We have such a great, strong panel of judges here tonight. Let me explain kind of the pitch process. Each entrepreneur will have 5 minutes to pitch. Then the judges will query them, quiz them, grill them, if you will. And so they'll answer those questions while the professionals are asking those questions. You are invited to use this link here that's on the screen now, s4g.biz/question. Use that link to submit your questions to hear what each entrepreneur says, or to ask them about what they say, so that you can get your questions in as well, so that we don't have to rely only on our judges. With that, I'm excited to introduce our first presenter, who will be Sujay Suresh Kumar, the CEO of Lilu. With a background in electrical engineering and a passion for women's health innovation, Sujay's journey from the high energy physics group at UPenn to empowering survivors in India and launching the groundbreaking Lilu massager bra showcases his transformative impact. Sujay, take it away.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that introduction, Devin. I'm just quickly sharing my screen here. I think everybody can see this now. So I can quickly get started. Hi, everybody. I'm Sujay. I'm the co-founder and CEO at Lilu, where we build tech products to make postpartum care more comfortable, efficient, and pain-free. Successful breastfeeding is critical for both the baby's and the mother's well-being. But in reality, breastfeeding is hard. When my co-founder, Adriana, and I saw friend after friend struggling to make breastfeeding work, we set out to understand why. We listened to hundreds of moms about their struggles with breastfeeding, and we were left appalled by how outdated breastfeeding technology was. This causes over 75% of moms to stop exclusively breastfeeding within just 6 months, well below the current recommendations of 2 full years by the WHO. This is staggering, but unsurprising when you see how most moms pump today. As technologists, product designers, and future parents ourselves, this was not acceptable to us. So we decided to change that. We started by identifying gaps in current technology. Breast pumping is a complex process. Today, moms have to get multiple products from multiple brands to piece it all together to try to make it work. And these products are using a piecemeal approach to solve parts of the problem. But solving only for physical or emotional pain around breastfeeding separately is not enough. That's why at Lilu, we're leveraging our technical expertise to build two key complementary product lines that address both the physical and emotional challenges around breastfeeding and make it more efficient and sustainable. First is the Omni breast pump, and second is the MilkSense app and smart sensor. Omni. It is the ultimate wearable breast pump that fits seamlessly into a bra, integrated with our patented breast massaging technology to help moms pump 50% more milk. We have validated our proprietary massage technology through our beta product, a massager that works alongside breast pumps to make pumping more efficient. And we've achieved some key milestones with this beta. We've proven through rigorous pilots that moms pump up to 50% more milk on average with our massage technology. We have 2 granted utility patents in the US and 1 patent in China. We have over 250K in sales from over 2,500 customers, received regulatory clearance from the FDA as a Class 1 device, built a network of over 300 lactation experts, and most importantly, moms who are about to quit breastfeeding have called this their breastfeeding savior. With all the traction with our beta, we're excited to launch Omni later this year. With Omni, we're solving real problems around physical pain with pumping, but lactation is also very closely tied to maternal mental health. That's why, with support from the National Science Foundation, we've developed the MilkSense lactation tracking app and smart sensor to enhance the Omni pump and unlock a wealth of data around breast milk production that is currently not captured. We will then use this data to create models using machine learning and AI and provide moms with actionable insights about their lactation and well-being and enable hyper-personalized care. The app is currently in beta, and we will go live in Q2 of 2024, and we will launch the MilkSense Smart Sensor in Q4 of 2025. Here's how we're reaching moms. We're starting with direct-to-consumers, driven by referral from our lactation network. Next, we will scale through wholesale and medical channels via insurance reimbursement. With our app, we will acquire new customers through freemium subscription and offer value-added services. Our go-to-market strategy is built on a strong foundation, having already developed relationships with distributors like the FSA Store, Accelovon, and Amazon with our beta. And we are the all-star team with the right set of skills and experience to make this happen. Adriana and I combine experience in engineering, computer science, and product design with degrees from MIT and masters from UPenn. And we're supported by a super talented, diverse team with experience in engineering, operations, and business development. We're also backed by a stellar advisory board that includes Dr. Diane Spatz, a world-renowned lactation expert from the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia and Cara Forni, who founded and successfully exited the bump. The maternal health industry is growing rapidly, and it's expected to triple in size by 2029. Our exciting product roadmap and multi-channel growth strategy position us to be a market leader in this space. And with that, we expect to achieve over 100 million within 5 years. Lilu will be the go-to brand for postpartum care by 2027. We've achieved some key milestones and de-risked our technology with only 1.3 million in funding to date. We're currently raising a seed round to launch the Omni and MilkSense product lines, acquire 5,000 daily active users on the MilkSense app, and hire a head of marketing and sales. We recently launched on WeFunder to open our round to the community at exclusive terms. You can visit wefunder.com/Lilu to learn more, or scan this QR code. We're absolutely pumped to build technology to make a real difference to the lives of millions of moms. And with your support, we will be even better equipped to succeed in our mission. Thank you so much for this opportunity. You can learn more at wefunder.com/Lilu.
Fantastic. We're just thrilled. It's now our opportunity to have our expert panel ask you some questions. And James, why don't we start with you? What questions do you have for Sujay?
Yeah, so fantastic product. I have four children of my own and grandchildren, and I know how big of a challenge this process can be. The one question I have is, how have you dealt with any FDA or government agency certifications or HIPAA, things like that? Have you had the chance of kind of working through some of those government oversight regulations, and are you comfortable with where you stand?
Absolutely. Thank you for that. So with our beta product, which, as I mentioned, was an accessory to the breast pump, a massager that worked alongside breast pump, we've had to go through regulatory hurdles Our first product was as an FDA Class 1 device. So again, we had to go through that entire process of working with the FDA to identify a new classification for the device. With the Omni breast pump, it is going to be an FDA Class 2 device, and there have been established predicates for this. So we know the process, we build those relationships with the FDA, so we know that when we do have the device and when we are ready to get to the market, it is going to be a streamlined process.
Nice.
Excellent. What about you, Tawana? Do you have a question?
Absolutely. First of all, wonderful job, Sujay. Um, let's talk a little bit about the wearable itself. Is the device built into the brassiere and it's all one piece, or is it separate? And let's talk about sizing a little bit more. I want to make sure
Sure.
the everyday woman can utilize
Yeah.
this without an issue.
Absolutely. Again, thank you so much for that question, and I hope to clarify that with my answer. So the wearable breast pump is actually a standalone breast pump. It doesn't come with the bra. The depiction there with the image was that it slips into the bra seamlessly. So moms can wear their regular bras, their nursing bras, and just slip the breast pump into their bras and carry on with their pumping and carry on with their day essentially. So it is highly portable. It is convenient, and again in the most small form factor. In terms of sizing, in terms of the device itself, it's going to come as a single size, but we are going to have multiple sizes so far as flanges are concerned. So when moms are using breast pumps, they're typically used to using different flange sizes that fit their nipples. So we will have adapters in the device, built into the device as an accessory. So moms can swap out different flange sizes. So that's how we will adjust for sizing with the pump.
Very good. Thank you very much for that.
Marcia, what are you wondering about?
Yeah, thank you. I thought that a great presentation today. Thank you very much. Kind of a two-part question. One is I want to know what the cost comparison is with traditional pumps today. And do I have to, if I'm using this, do I have to buy one or does it come in a pair? Can I use them simultaneously?
Yeah. So the Omni breast pump is going to retail at $270 for a pair. So it's going to be two breast pumps, so that moms can use both the units to pump with both breasts at the same time. In terms of cost comparison, so today in the market, there are essentially two broad categories of breast pumps. There are the standard breast pumps, which are basically these legacy breast pumps that have existed in the same design for the last 30, 40 years now, and unfortunately haven't really innovated. They go for anywhere between $150 to $250. They're fully covered by insurance reimbursement. And then on the other end of the spectrum, there are up-and-coming companies that have launched wearable breast pumps, which is, again, in the similar form factor as Omni, but they don't have the massage technology, basically. And these go anywhere, again, the high-end breast pumps typically go for $400 and upward of $400, actually. So moms have to pay $150, $200 out of their pockets after insurance reimbursement to make this work, essentially. So at the $270 price point that we have, a majority of that is going to be covered by insurance. Moms might have to pay $20, $30 out of their pocket to cover it. But again, we see that with the additional feature of massage to help moms get more milk and alleviate pain and discomfort around pumping, we see that extra value, and we think that moms would be willing to pay that.
Terrific. Thank you.
Do any of you judges have additional follow-up questions?
I have a follow-up question about the use of the data. I know you're going to be using it to help educate moms. What other plans do you have for the data? Will you ever monetize it in any way?
Yeah, that's the exciting part for us. So a little bit of a step back. So there are, over the last couple of years, there have been exciting new startups that have launched platforms to support moms, to provide postnatal and postpartum support to moms through virtual lactation consultation, virtual healthcare providers, essentially. But they unfortunately lack information. They lack the data that around lactation, around breast milk production, around overall wellness. And even though they provide that support, there's unfortunately that important element of when they're providing that care, they're getting that care. They're not really, there's that full circle isn't there, essentially, right? So there's no closing the loop, and so that's where we want to come in. We want to provide lactation providers, lactation educators, lactation consultants, sleep therapists, healthcare providers, basically, provide moms with the right kind of care and hyper-personalized care. So that's where we will essentially use this data. So we will connect with these platforms. We will be allies to the virtual lactation support consultation providers, essentially, and we will provide this data to these lactation educators to help them provide moms with the care that they need. And in addition to that, again, we are in the future, we have additional monetization opportunities as well. So with the app, we're also going to be collecting information around what's working for moms and what's not working for moms. So moms are using products to help them with lactation. So they're using lactation teas, lactation cookies, they're using breast pumps, various different products to help them with lactation. And right now, unfortunately, there's no way to know what's working and what's not working for them. And by helping them track their lactation, helping them understand how their lactation is changing over a day, over a week, over a month, we can actually keep tabs on what's happening. And even with healthcare professionals too. If a mom is visiting a lactation educator, like an IBCLC today, is her milk production changing over time? Are her problems solved with essentially the care that she's getting? And if it's not solved, like what is going wrong, and like what can be changed essentially? Or if they're using a product, understanding, oh, this product is working for you, and just helping them understand this seems to be working for you and this doesn't seem to be working for you. I think with pumping lactation in general, the piece that is missing right now is that most of the solutions look like a one-size-fits-all solution. But when it comes to lactation, we know that every mom is different. And with this data, we can unlock that.
Very good. Thank you for that. Just so very well thought through. This is often a time where moms feel like failures when it doesn't go well. And it sounds like you've thought of all the ways to help them be successful. So well done.
Exactly.
Let me just share. There's a question from our audience. The question is, pumping can be uncomfortable. How do women who've used your product say it compares in terms of comfort? Sujay, it sounds like you didn't hear the question. Can you hear me now?
I think I'm having technical difficulties. I'm not hearing anything from anyone right now.
Okay. Sujay, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, so the question from the audience was, pumping can be uncomfortable. How do women who've used your product say it compares in terms of comfort?
Yeah, actually, that is one of the most important feedback that we got from moms, and in a positive way. So with the first product, which was a massager that worked alongside breast pumps, the one constant thing that moms came back and told us is that the massage is very soothing, it's very comforting, and it's less of compression and more of just gentle stimulation that the lactation consultants also suggest that moms use when they're breastfeeding and breast pumping to help them maximize their milk production, help them get their oxytocin and the hormones flowing essentially to help them improve their breast milk production. And so that is something that we have looked at, and we've also again tested with multiple versions of our beta to optimize for that, to optimize for comfort, optimize for the massage patterns to help moms alleviate clogged ducts, alleviate mastitis, but also help them optimize their milk production. So it is something that we've thought out a lot. And in terms of pumping too, in terms of integrating this massage into our Omni breast pump, we are going to go through extensive beta testing with moms before we put this into the market. Again, we've taken a little bit of time in doing that. We understand that this is a very personal product when it comes to moms and women in general, and we want to make sure that we put a product out there that is honestly that moms can use comfortably and without thinking twice, and something that is deserving of the moms.
Fantastic. Judges, do you have any final questions as we wrap up? And let me just point out, team, that we've got, we do have everyone. We want you to know you can invest live right now in these deals. This is really kind of exciting. You can visit this link here. Let me put it on the screen. You can visit in s4g.biz/Lilu, which is just a short link for the link to the campaign. Sujay, your campaign is on WeFunder, right?
Yeah, it looks like I lost you again. I'm so sorry.
Okay, so it's all right. We're going to move on. But Sujay, thank you so much. Great presentation. We really appreciate you. And we're going to take a short commercial break, and then we'll be right back.
Hope to raise money from the impact crowd. Good investors are as interested in community, social or environmental impact as you. Connect with Funding Hope, an SEC-registered FINRA member crowdfunding portal to learn how to raise capital from the impact crowd. Scan the QR code now.
Join us for SuperCrowd 24 for 2 full days of wealth and impact creating content at this virtual conference on April 17th and 18th. We'll have 100 speakers and live pitch sessions. Learn how to invest like a pro and raise money from the crowd. Save 50% with the discount code SUPERCROWD at thesupercrowd.com.
You can get in on the ground floor to help fix the climate crisis for as little as $100. Pause now to scan the QR code to get started or visit s4g.biz/raisegreen. You can be a green at Raise Green.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We're thrilled to have you here. We're going to shift gears now, and we're going to talk about our next company, which is Forbes Development, or Forbes Farmhouse Development. And I'm so excited to introduce you to to our presenter, who is Kelvin Harris. Let me just tell you a little bit about Kelvin. Kelvin, with 4 decades of multifaceted expertise, making him an ideal leader to drive the success of the Forbes Farmhouse Development Project. His rare blend of experience as an architect, construction manager, and financial consultant makes him uniquely suited to pioneer the company's continued excellence. Kelvin, let me turn the time over to you.
Sponsor of the Forbes Farmhouse offering. As mentioned, I'm a business consultant and I also have an architectural degree from Howard University. And I have over 30 years of experience in architectural design, construction, and project management. So before I get into what the Forbes Farmhouse is, let me talk a little bit about my why. My family has owned land outside the Tallahassee area for 4 going on 5 generations. And we're experiencing what could be considered a historical challenge, which is how to maintain the land that we've inherited when that land is no longer income producing. In 1910, when my grandmother was 10 years old, Black land ownership in this country peaked to the tune of 14 million acres. Unfortunately, 90% of that land has been lost, has been lost or seized due to our collective inability to solve this problem that I just described. So essentially, the vision for the Forbes Farmhouse is to create a custom-built luxury vacation rental property positioned at the intersection of 4 profitable markets. Now, when we talk about the Tallahassee market and its viability, it's of note that some years ago, Tallahassee had the distinction of being the #1 growing financial economy of all the cities in Florida. This is evidenced by their regional airport now being converted into an international airport. Tallahassee is also recognized as one of the 150 best places to live in the United States. Tallahassee also features a very vibrant sports community and a sports hub with Florida State and Florida A&M as the 2 major universities. These universities also will drive attraction and fans and visitors from across the country to this region. Now, the Forbes Farmhouse project is divided into 2 phases. Phase 1 will be site development, which is already underway. And phase 2 will be the actual construction of the property itself. Just want to spend a bit of time on our energy efficient focus. We're going to be using for the exterior of the property something called SIPs, or structurally insulated panels. This will provide us with energy efficiency and reduce our energy costs by about 50%, but also will facilitate the speed of construction for this project. Additionally, our structural system is a hybrid steel system that will facilitate the large, clear interior spans that we need for the aesthetics, as well as providing the structural integrity that will exceed the highest wind and roof load requirements for this region. Now, just to dive into the four markets that we're positioned in. Well, first is the vacation rental, which is on track to be a $17 to $18 billion industry this year. Next, we're looking at the event space rental market, which is currently a $5.8 billion industry. Next, we're looking at the corporate events, which is on track to be a $510 billion industry by 2030. We will be looking to facilitate activities like corporate retreats, training, conferences, and seminars. And then last but not least, we're looking at corporate housing. Corporate housing is also on track to be a $2 billion industry by 2027 with a 5.9 CAGR. Here are some of the major players in the corporate housing space. So now, as we look again at the viability and we look at some comparisons of the daily rates that other vacation rentals are getting in this area, we can kind of locate our property to theirs. We're looking at somewhere between $750 a night with an occupancy rate of about 60%. Also noteworthy is that it's been reported that the Airbnb properties in this area have overshot their projection by 400%. Also, just a few interior pictures of the Forest Farmhouse to just kind of get you an idea of the aesthetic. And also kind of show the flexibility we have to accommodate a variety of different types of events. So for interested investors, they can go to our regulated crowdfunding portal at Secure Living REI to get more details on our offering. Also, we have a very nice animated video there for them to review that will give them some more detail. In addition, information on our project team, which obviously consists of myself, my nephew, Gerard Barrett, who is a real estate developer and also a Columbia University grad, and our local general contractor, Mr. Antoine Wright, who is the head of the local Tallahassee Habitat for Humanity. So I thank you again in advance for your support, and I look forward to any questions from the judges or the audience. Thank you.
I'm going to bring back some our panel of judges now. Perhaps Marcia, we can start with you. Where did Marcia go? If I lost. Oh, there she is. Sorry, Marcia. Go ahead.
Right here. Kelvin, that was great. And I really appreciated how you pivoted your presentation from last night and met in that 5-minute window. So great job of like distilling it down. I have a question because you talked about the, sort of like compared to the Airbnb on the rental side, which was only one of the 4 tracks that you are targeting. So I'm curious what you anticipate the highest and best use of your property. Like, I would imagine corporate events and weddings are going to net you more capital than somebody staying overnight for an Airbnb. So have you thought about that and how you're going to manage that?
Absolutely, and that's a great question, and I think it's a good problem to have because we did come to that conclusion not too long ago that just the event rental or venue rental space would probably outpace the vacation rental in terms of revenue. So I think the first year or so we're going to kind of feel our way through that, probably leaning more towards the event space. That has a lot to do with marketing and people to get to know us. The vacation rental has an existing infrastructure with Wearable and Airbnb and things like that we can immediately tap into. But yeah, we're definitely looking at the possibility of pivoting more to the event space and the corporate rental and the corporate events, and maybe reducing the vacation rentals, whether it be seasonally or with regard to some of those other effects. But yeah, you're spot on. We're definitely pleasantly surprised to see that the potential is greater for the event space than maybe even the vacation rental, which was the initial idea.
Great, thank you.
Tawana, what do you want to know about this project?
First of all, Kelvin, I want to say how beautifully you've designed this property. It's absolutely flawlessly beautiful. And also very impressed with how you have come up with a strategy to save the land so that the next 5 generations can appreciate it and then take over and take care of it. So well done, sir. Let's talk a little bit about the marketing strategy. You've talked about some of the hosting sites that you can use, but what other things are you planning to do to make sure that the calendar is filled?
Yeah, well, definitely leveraging the community. Again, my family has been in that area for, I imagine, more than 5 generations. So, very deep in the community. My contractor, again, working for Habitat and Humanity, different church and social organization. So we want to kind of do a grassroots in terms of getting that information out. And then, of course, we're going to leverage social media for the marketing of both the vacation rental portion as well as the event space, whether it be corporate events and those things. So we're really looking to be kind of firing on all cylinders initially. The other strategy that we have is we're looking to maybe have a soft opening, hopefully by November, or let's say around Thanksgiving of this year. So we're definitely going to do some early marketing and advertisement, and the funds that we receive, or a portion of the funds that we receive through this crowdfunding, will definitely be used to leverage all marketing avenues to get the word out. Because I do feel that we can be the premier vacation rental / event space in this area, just because there's nothing like it in Tallahassee, but there's nothing like this in a lot of cities. So I don't think we'll have a problem becoming number one on that list.
Very good. Thank you for that. Then the second question I had was, you talked a little bit about the materials you're going to use from a sustainability standpoint. Are there any other energy efficient features you're going to have within or throughout the project in the property?
None that I think stand out right now. We are currently looking and investigating whether we're going to use solar panels. I know there is also an option. There is a technology where you may have been able to see the atrium section of the property. They actually have glass panels that are solar panels as well. So don't really know what the cost, if we can value engineer that in. But yeah, we're taking every effort, or making every effort, to make this a premier property, not just from the investment standpoint, but from a energy efficiency and sustainability perspective as well.
Wonderful. Thank you.
So, James, do you have a question?
I do. First of all, incredible product. Just amazing. The design and the layout of it is just fantastic. I'm curious as to how long it will take to produce the units, and how far of a backlog do you anticipate at the beginning? Have you kind of worked into the schedule such that you can generate them quickly? I see this being one of those things that becomes very popular very quickly. And customers can get frustrated at times that things take too long to become available. I'm just curious as to your ramp up plans, and and a lot of that obviously depends on funding, but just curious as to your, the time it takes to create these beautiful housing units.
Well, again, another great question, and a lot of thought was put into that. That's one of the reasons we utilize some of the materials we had. One being the SIPS panels, because that helps with the construction. Basically, each panel represents maybe 4 trades: the framers, the drywall, the insulation, but it's all happening at one time. So you're almost putting it together almost like a series of Lego blocks if you just look at the exterior. So the whole idea was to create a project that was sustainable, but we could shorten the construction time, because our ability to shorten the construction time will allow us to do what I call speed to market, which means we can begin to pay ROI to our investors much sooner. So like any construction project, there are, some lead times and things that we have to deal with. But we anticipate, because of some of the foundational elements we're using, we can well exceed the typical construction, to the point where, going back to that, our hybrid steel system, that frame can be erected in a week once the concrete is poured. Also, the structural insulated panels, which is just the building envelope, that's probably another week to put that on. So you're looking at 2 weeks to have a fully built building envelope already erected and enclosed, minus the windows and things of that nature. So we think that will serve us well in terms of, shortening the construction time for a project like this.
Fantastic product. Just I'm very interested. I'd love to explore this with a vacation home kind of a concept. I think that'd be fabulous.
Absolutely.
I'm excited to report we've got a question from the audience. If I could interject that at this point, James, the question is, for corporate events, assuming there will be staff to carry out requests and needs, do you need capital, or how much capital is needed for hiring that team?
Yeah, so for the corporate events, I think initially we will be the event space venue. So meaning you're going to rent the event space. At some point, maybe not initially. Once we kind of get an idea, we may take on different chairs and tables and things of that nature. But for the most part, like many events that happen now, the basic necessities we may have, but typically the corporate entity is facilitating most of that, whether they're hiring caterers or folks like that, or a event manager. So we're not looking to step into that part of it just yet. We want to provide the space. We want to provide the ambiance with the area and the tranquil nature of our facility, kind of nestled in this back to nature location. Like I said, that's why I think for corporate retreats and things like that, we think we'll really make an impact. But we're not going to go so much on the actual event management side or event planning side. We're looking to just provide the space for the event and for the event planners to work within.
Fantastic. Now, judges, what other questions do you have for Kelvin?
I actually have one other question. Are you going to have different color schemes, different layouts? I think this is a fantastic product the way it is, but I'm just curious if you're going to, at some point, maybe provide different options or other add-on functionality, or like adding a room or things like that.
Yeah, that's interesting because we have gotten some feedback, and we are looking at not immediately, but I'm already back on the design table looking at what maybe a phase 2 or a phase 3 would be, at adding additional spaces, so maybe we can have multiple events at the same time. Um, Maybe you may have seen in the video or some of the pictures the outdoor pool. We're looking to maybe have like a pool house of some sort with restrooms outdoors, so people don't have to come inside, as well as you can have other type of events outside where you may also have an indoor event as well. So we are looking at different variations on this theme. Um, uh, haven't really looked so much at the color scheme. We will be looking at that for this property moving forward. I do want to look at some additional color schemes for the exterior versus the kind of the white event against the gray siding. But I think all those things will come. I think it's just a natural response. Talk to any architect, and they're never done designing a project. So we'll probably be tweaking this for years and years to come. Not in this location, but others, and potentially in this location as well.
Well, and I
Yes.
realize I'm showing a lot of impatience in that you're trying to get the first one out the door. So
Well, I appreciate your support and positive thinking that we'll have multiple of these. I've actually already been asked by people, can you do one of these on my property that I have in Georgia? And so that is definitely not outside the realm of possibility.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah, that's great. Well, this has been a great conversation, great discussion. As you can see on the screen, you can see how to invest in Forbes Farmhouse Development. Visit s4g.biz/Forbes, and you can invest right now. That offering is open right now. And of course, a lot of your questions that you may have can be answered on that site as well. So check it out to learn more or invest. Now, we're going to take a short break here, a short commercial break. And when we come back, we'll be talking to our next presenter.
Hope to raise money from the impact crowd? Good investors are as interested in community, social or environmental impact as you. Connect with Funding Hope, an SEC-registered FINRA member crowdfunding portal to learn how to raise capital from the impact crowd. Scan the QR code now.
Join us for SuperCrowd 24 for 2 full days of wealth and impact creating content at this virtual conference on April 17th and 18th. We'll have 100 speakers and live pitch sessions. Learn how to invest like a pro and raise money from the crowd. Save 50% with the discount code SUPERCROWD at thesupercrowd.com.
You can get in on the ground floor to help fix the climate crisis for as little as $100. Pause now to scan the QR code to get started or visit s4g.biz/raisegreen. You can beat a green at Raise Green.
Welcome back, everyone. We are so excited. We're shifting gears now to talk about our next presenter. Our next presenter is Ismail El Amin, the founder of Piggyback Network, who blends 2 decades in corporate IT with the wisdom of raising 4 children and an Ivy League education. From Chicago's South Side to Princeton University, Ismail's journey fuels his mission to ensure no child's potential is hindered by transportation barriers. Ismail, take it away. Go ahead, Ismail.
All right, just unmuting here, sharing screen. All right, for those in the audience that have children, you're going to enjoy this. For those in the audience that are driving your children on a regular basis every day to school, after school activities, you're going to enjoy this a lot. For those of you that don't fall into that, just sit back and enjoy the graphics. Here we go. I'm a parent of 4. My wife and I, we drive our children about 5 hours every day here in Chicago. That's driving them to school, 3 different schools for the 4 children, driving them to after school activities and back home afterwards. We're one family of American families that drive 43 billion miles every year to get youth back and forth to school and activities. Of those rides, about half of them are between 2 miles and about 3.5 miles. That's 50% of those, and another 35%, including the school bus rides. While we're driving these, 4 out of every 5 parents agree that the drop off and the pickup situation is not desirable. We've designed a platform, Piggyback Network, that allows parents that are driving on a regular basis to locate other local driving parents that have overlapping routes. We match those families together, those families meet in person, and they're able to schedule affordable rides on demand. You can think of us as a mix between Airbnb in a two-sided marketplace, Match.com, in that we match people together, and also Uber for rides. Our market for global rideshare is $300 billion. It's huge. Of that, we're looking at an $18 billion market when we talk about education and youth rides. And of that, we're trying to attain 1% of that, 180 million, within the next 7 years as a go-to leader for incentivized carpool. We do have competitors in the space. Hop, Skip, Drive, and Zoom are very successful and have been at it for about 10 years. They started with the mission of having paid drivers driving youth around and having the parents pay for it, and they've pivoted to a different model. Hop, Skip, Drive is now going after rides with federal funds, and Zoom has transitioned to electric school buses. Uber has entered the game for teens, but they go as low as 14 years old. We're offering rides to parents for children as young as 6 months old up to 18-year-old. And our average ride is 6 miles long and cost about $14, something our competitors cannot speak to. Our trajectory so far, we started off with the pilot version of the website, which we built individually in the fall of 2021. We managed to raise over $300,000, including crowdfund effort as well as venture-backed accelerator. And since then, we've been building partnerships. Our first one was with the YMCA of Metro Chicago, because people tend to trust the YMCA and their brand a little bit better than just some guys with a t-shirt with the logo on it when it comes to talking about parent transportation. Since then, we've established our custom insurance policy where we have the rides insured for the drivers as well as the passengers. And we've also been featured in an expo in Amsterdam amongst other Texas accelerators and demonstrations here in Chicago. And I've also won the TechRise Finale People's Choice Award here in Chicago as we presented in December. As of February, we finished a program at Northwestern University where we worked with their candidates for their VC program. Our roadmap, Q2 2024, we do plan on building a mobile app. Right now, we are only a website. That's what some of the funds is for with our crowdfunding efforts. And we do have a partnership with the YMCA of Boston, which is our largest to date, 13 locations, and they also service 122 public schools for after-school programs. So that should roll out in about April or May this year. We are looking to expand to Chicago schools as well as sports programs later this year and going into the winter of next year. To get it done, we use partnerships. We have the YMCA as well as a couple after-school programs, including dance programs, arts programs. United Voices Chicago is formerly the Chicago Children's Choir. Our team is myself and my roommate and football buddy from Princeton University, Donald Scott. We bring 20 years of corporate experience, myself as a director of business design. He's on the IT side of things with IBM. Most importantly, I'm a 4-time parent. He's a 3-time parent. So we know a little bit about raising children. We do have an open crowdfunding campaign on WeFunder, and I enjoy any questions that come your way. Thank you.
Well, this is great. I really appreciate this great presentation. I'll bring the judges back to the discussion here and get started. Tawana, am I thinking right? Maybe it's your turn to start the discussion?
I'd love to. Very, very well done. This is the beautiful example of it takes a village. And so, more families are going to be able to get their children to those very important programs that are going to help them be better humans. And so thank you for building this. I want to talk a little bit more about the insurance. I love that you have custom insurance options. If you can talk a little bit more about that protection that you have thoughtfully sought out.
Sure. So it took us about 18 months to get our policy created because it did not exist. There was no incentivized carpool insurance policy out there. Everyone told us if you're going to have parents driving, they've got to have either an Uber or Lyft type insurance policy. And we are not Uber Lyft. We do not pay our parents to do the drives. So we had to find an underwriter who would understand what we're building out, look at the potential for the mileage, how many parents are driving, what times of day they're doing their pickups and drop offs, the fact that they're driving most of the time with their own child in the car. There was no actuarial numbers for them to base this off of. So it was all building this from scratch and sort of looking at how the first year goes to determine what next year's policy looks like.
Very good. Wow. Impressive.
James, what do you want to know? Oh, James, we got you muted. Let's unmute you. There we go.
Sorry about that. Is that better?
Yep, we got you.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah. I think you covered this briefly, and you kind of talked about it with the insurance, but what type of security background checks, things of that nature? I mean, obviously, a lot of the parents will know each other from
Sure.
Neighborhoods, etc. But I'm just curious as to how you vet those individuals and ensure the safety and security of those little ones.
Sure. So this is not delivering a box with shoes in it. So this is delivering someone's child. So we started off with the screening process from the piggyback side. We do a full background check of all of our drivers. We're going to look at national criminal background, countywide criminal background, if they're on any of the sexual registries across the 50 states. And then we're also looking at your driving record. That's done before the match actually happens. We won't introduce a driver to a family if they don't pass our background check. So we bear the cost of that. Once we've matched the parents, so that means you've passed our background check and the routes overlap, we require the members to meet in person. So this is sort of the eHarmony kind of portion of it. We don't want to be the one to say this should be your driver. We want the families to agree. They're able to put a list together of screening questions. They want to meet 3 times instead of once. They want to get a sample of what their driving looks like. They may want their children to meet with the driver. The driver may want their children to meet with the family that they're riding with. So we let them decide what that second piece of it is like, sort of being part of the hiring process if you're thinking of building a company out. Because again, this is precious cargo, and we don't want them to feel like they have to take the person that Piggyback's recommended for them.
Fantastic. Let's go now to Marcia. Marcia, what questions do you have for Ishmael?
I actually have 2 questions. You've said it a couple of times that you're not paying the drivers, and you have an incentivizing program. Can you just talk about that? How are you incentivize drivers?
So in an ideal state, both sides of our ride, the driver as well as the passenger that's riding, they're piggyback members that are willing to do the drive as well as requesting. In a sweet spot, the rider is paying and the driver is earning points, so that when it's time for the driving family to send their child, they've earned points that they can turn around and spend. So it's creating a circular currency sort of. We don't say, you've driven 10 rides, here's a check for doing your 10 drives. This is no payout system. The drivers that are driving are actually earning credits so that they go into their profile, and that when it's time for them to send their child, they don't have to purchase the ride. And then Piggyback keeps a portion of each ride.
That's great. And then my second question is like, what happens when life happens? So what happens when a driver who's committed to driving has an emergency, their kid is sick, they're not going? What's the backup plan?
So these are parents. Parenting children's happen. We had a driver show up to a door, waited for a couple of minutes. The mom waved out, nope, kid is acting up today, they're not going to school. Okay, that happens. Same thing from the driver's side. Flat tires, child is sick, there's vomiting, there's bloody nose, whatever it happens. Because these are parents and families, we expect them to communicate with each other at earliest convenience and say, hey, the ride's just not going to happen. And there's no guarantee from Piggyback that there'll be a backup or anything like that. It's just your ride's not going to happen. There's no charge. You get to cancel your ride and everything like that. and then they just move on to the next week or next available ride.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Great. Judges, what other questions do you have?
Ishmael, you mentioned some of the partnerships that you have. Are there any other partnerships that you're seeking that can help enhance the program?
Yes, we've had a number of conversations with local sports teams that may have a national footprint, as well as after school programs that also have a national footprint. Because we're available in every zip code, we're looking to find partnerships that once we get them up and going in one city, Chicago is primary because that's where I'm seated, we can take those findings and scale them out to the other locations and let them know, hey, we're the value add to this location because XYZ, these are the metrics, this is how many families, these are the testimonials. So we're definitely looking for after school programs anywhere children are routinely transported back and forth. There may be a bus involved right now, there may be a shuttle involved right now. There may be parents that are already carpooling. We'd love to bring them on the platform and let us know, hey, how can we incentivize you all to do what you're already doing, as well as schools. So some public school systems may have more red tape and us becoming a vendor because they have partnerships with the buses. But we are talking with Catholic schools, with private schools, with charter schools where they don't have existing transportation contracts.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Judges, what else would you like to know?
Devin, do I have time for one more question?
Sure, go ahead, Marcia.
Yeah, so you talked about the cost, the average is 6 miles equals $14, but you talked about it being in the city. What about suburbs? Like, is this something, is it a different price point? Have you started doing any beta testing to see what the
Sure.
average ride
So
would
yes,
be?
whenever we roll out to another partnership, we have them go to our pricing tool and kind of give us some sample addresses. So if your facility is here, give us an address where some of the families may be coming from. So what we do is we base our price on the number of miles as well as the minutes driven for that time span. So if it's high traffic, if it's low traffic, we're going to calculate it differently. But we took a model that we got off of Uber's website on how they calculate, and then we kind of aimed at about 1/3 the price of an Uber ride when we did our pricing. So the way we charge our miles, the way we charge our number of minutes driven, it's going to come to about 1/3 of what an Uber ride costs for the most of the drivers.
That's great. Thank you.
Sure.
This has been a great discussion. Judges, do you have any more questions? Let's see. Wait, I think we've got a question from, yes. So Tanya Hales asked, what other incentives are you considering?
So we do have discussions with some major retailers, restaurants, airlines, places where we know families are spending some of their part of their monthly budget. We want to be able to convert piggyback points to retail dollars, retail value at other facilities. So you may be able to say, hey, I got our groceries this month because we did 3 months of piggyback driving for our neighbor. Now we get credit to buy $300 worth of groceries from a major realtor. So we're looking to do some type of incentivized gasoline partnerships like that, where we know families are already spending that money. As we get our membership up, as we get our rides up and show that we're present in enough zip codes, we do have a number of major retailers that are waiting for us to prove that out.
We've got another question from the audience. This one is, how do you guarantee parents buy in, or what do you do when a parent or family is not living up to their side of the bargain?
Yes, great question, because we've heard from customers that they're part of carpools right now where it's lopsided. The driver is always one family. The other side never has time or never comes through. We want the partnership to be equally fulfilling. So if there's ever a point where one side doesn't feel like they're getting the same benefit from the partner side, you can always decline the ride. You can say, hey, I'm not available anymore. I want to break this match. There's no contract to say that just because you have an agreement that you need to keep that agreement. So if there's no shows, if there's times where there's commitments that are pulled out last minute, we don't want that person creating a bad name for our vibe as we're building out. So we definitely will take the feedback that there's been too many dropped or too many inconsistencies, or they're arriving late. We have a rating system for partners to say, is there on time? Is there anything in their behavior that's questionable? Is there anything that's going on between the child and the driver or the child and the passengers that is a problem? Because we don't want that to tarnish what our reputation looks like. And they can always go back to the board and match with someone else, and they don't have to continue with that partnership.
Fantastic. Judges, we've got enough time for one more question. Have you got anything else you'd like to know?
I'll ask a question. You started in Chicago, obviously, because that's where you are. But it sounds like your biggest market right now is Boston. So can you just talk a little bit about how you develop the partnerships there? Because that's a nice roadmap for future cities.
Yeah, so YMCA is a great example of just networking and the snowball effect. Our first official partner was the YMCA in Greater Chicago and of Metro Chicago, and they helped us out. They had press releases. They got the name out there. We worked with them on their summer camps, and now we're growing out to some of their other branches. But as we're doing that, we're kind of talking to other people. Some of the accelerators we were in Houston for an accelerator sponsored by Microsoft. The people at Microsoft knew the CEO of the Boston's YMCA from childhood, found out what we were doing, made a call, and now we're talking to Boston. The same things happen for Philadelphia, Tampa. We just keep getting connected because there's this common problem of, yes, we have youth facilities, we have parents that want to get their children there, but there's inconsistencies in the families that have the resources to do it. So because it's a national issue, it's actually a global issue, we've been able to spawn up, and we don't need a footprint. We don't need a headquarters in these places. We just need to market and roll out to the parents that, hey, you could be part of your own solution.
Great, thank you.
All righty, we've got one last question. Let me just ask it quickly. How do you stop the parents from just working outside of your platform?
Yes, we get that question all the time. So we do try to keep the system gamified, where you drive a couple of rides, you get this reward. As I mentioned before, we're working with these partnerships so that we can incentivize the parents that are doing the driving to get these free miles on airlines and free dollars at the grocery store, free meals at the restaurants. We want them to see this as, not only am I helping my fellow classmate, I'm also helping the school. We have a revenue share program where we're donating a portion of the revenue generated for each location, donating that back to the schools, back to the YMCA, back to the sports teams who can possibly pay for the uniforms. We're trying to take the business and make it part of what the community is looking for, so that we don't have these onesie twosies that say, I found my match, now we're just going to pull off and go 50-50 on the rides ourselves, trying to gamify it and have them stay sticky.
Well, fantastic. Ishmael, thank you so much for being with us for this presentation. We appreciate it. Stick around because we've got more fun before the end of the show. But we're going to take a quick break. Let me just remind you before the break, you can invest right now in Piggyback Network. Visit s4g.biz/piggy, and that will get you redirected to the longer link, right? So s4g.biz/piggy to invest right now in Piggyback Network. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll hear from Boaz Bikes.
Hope to raise money from the impact crowd. Good investors are as interested in community, social or environmental impact as you. Connect with Funding Hope, an SEC-registered FINRA member crowdfunding portal to learn how to raise capital from the impact crowd. Scan the QR code now.
Join us for SuperCrowd 24 for 2 full days of wealth and impact creating content at this virtual conference on April 17th and 18th. We'll have 100 speakers and live pitch sessions. Learn how to invest like a pro and raise money from the crowd. Save 50% with the discount code SUPERCROWD at thesupercrowd.com.
You can get in on the ground floor to help fix the climate crisis for as little as $100. Pause now to scan the QR code to get started or visit s4g.biz/raisegreen. You can beat a green at Raise Green.
Welcome back, everyone. We are so excited to have you all here. That we're having so much fun, and we're now ready for our final presentation. But let me be clear: there is more. The most fun happens after all the presentations are done. You get a chance to vote on picking the Super Crowd Pick Award. and the judges will be deliberating on their choice for the Judge's Choice Award, which will trigger an investment from the Super Crowd Inc. So stick around. You don't want to miss any of this fun. We're now going to shift gears, and we're going to talk about or listen to Emil Nani from Boaz Bikes. He is an accomplished artist, inspiring speaker, and the visionary behind Boaz Bikes, which is transforming urban mobility. From launching his first venture at 17 to becoming a global innovator, Emil's story is one of relentless pursuit and an entrepreneurial spirit, making him a true inspiration. Emil, take it away.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. My name is Emil Nani. I am a serial entrepreneur and I am the founder of Boaz Bikes. And Boaz is a revolutionary, eco-conscious micromobility company that's focused on safety, equity, and low operating costs. I created Boaz back in 2018 after witnessing somebody fall off of a shared scooter. That bright light went off in my head and it was like, hey, I can create a safer alternative. And that's what me and my team set out to do with Boaz. The big three problems we're solving in our industry is safety, equity, and unit economics. On the safety side, just by putting the seat on the scooter, giving it that lower center of gravity, we put turn signals on our scooter, side mirrors, we put baskets for hands-free riding. We've had almost 500,000 rides to date with 0 reported accidents. On the equity side, we leverage our AI technology to be able to shift bikes in real time. We shift bikes on demand. So when demand is low in the high tourist areas, we shift bikes to what we call equity zones, and we offer more affordable and discounted rides with our fleet so that they stay being utilized and not just sitting there like our competitors do. This is what our fleet look like. We're sitting on about 1,000 units. Our vehicles generate about $350 a month. We're looking at 65% gross margins, and our lifetime revenue per vehicle is a little over $12,000 per vehicle. Our vehicles are 4 times more cost efficient. They're 2 times less to produce than the competitors, and they last 4.5 times longer than our competitors do. This is what our current traction look like. 500,000 rides to date, over 70,000 users. We've generated over $2 million in total revenue and 67,000 pounds of CO2 emissions saved. The market is absolutely growing. It's predicted to go from $1 billion. This is just a shared scooter market here in the U.S. Predicted to go from $1 billion to $6 billion over the next 3 years. In 2023, the U.S. shared scooter market did $1 billion. So we're looking at about 2026 doing roughly about $6 billion just out of the U.S. alone. And here at Boaz, we're looking to grab 54 million of that by 2026 is our conservative target. Our competitors, a lot of household names, they've raised billions of dollars, and some of them delisted, some up from the stock market, some of them went out of business. And the biggest difference between us is that we focused on the operations. Instead of just growing and expanding into as many cities as possible, we got the operations down pat. We did it right. We figured out how to run lean and run a sustainable company. And that's what puts us ahead of our competition right now. This is my team. My co-founder, Winfrey, she comes from running operations for early Uber. She's now our chief operating officer here at Boaz. Corey is our CFO, has an MBA in business from Wharton. Alejandro is our CTO, and he handles all things tech. Together, we have multiple years, not just in the transportation industry, but just as business owners and entrepreneurs as well. My name is Emil Nani. You can invest in Boaz Bikes right now on our WeFunder platform, and I would love to have you guys as investors.
Fantastic. This is just great. I really appreciate your preparation and your great pitch. James, why don't we turn to you first to start this discussion?
First of all, I love this product. I love you as the front man, so to speak. You can tell you're excited about it and that you have a passion for this. What makes your cost of replacement lower than some of the others? I've been to a number of cities where the different scooters are located in different areas. It seems like a lot of them get beat up pretty good. And the part two to that question is, how do you reclaim those from various locations throughout the city? I've seen in some of the big cities that it feels like there's maybe lower quality collection services or things like that, which is causing some of the damage that have occurred to some of those devices. So what is it that you do differently that protects your investment and makes your bikes last so much longer?
Yeah, so like I said, we focused on operations early on, and we got that right. So what we do is we run a full-time staff, but we run less vehicles. Our competitors will come in the city with 1,000 vehicles, and they'll let them sit there for days and weeks on end. Whereas Boaz will come into the same market with 250, 300 vehicles, but we shift those vehicles all throughout the day using AI to meet demand. So when morning rides are different from afternoon rides are different from evening rides, instead of having 1,000 vehicles just sit there all throughout the day, that same 250, 300 will get shifted and moved. And since we're constantly moving vehicles in real time, our vehicles don't have that opportunity to be, tampered with or stolen or beat up more, because we're moving them and we're inspecting them as we move them and touching them up as we move them. So we are extending the life of those vehicles.
And then just a part two to that question. What makes your vehicle so much safer? I assume a lot of it is the sit down, aspect of it, whereas a lot of the scooters, most of them are stand-up scooters, and it drives me crazy to see these people. How many people have no idea how to drive these scooters around in traffic, and that I would imagine that the seat and some of the other design pieces that you've done, is that where you found the majority of the safety that you guys have had versus some of the competitors? Is there more to it than that?
No, that's the biggest piece of it, is literally just letting that user sit down and ride instead of standing up. Because the users will fall, they may tip over a little bit, but you're so close to the ground, you're not getting hurt. We do for new users, we geofence it to where they're not able to go 15 miles per hour. They have to coast into it. They may start off at the 10 miles per hour. But the biggest difference is being able to sit down and ride allows you to make right there in the moment, make a split decision on easily getting off the scooter and so forth. So that's the biggest difference on the safety part of it. The flip side of that is that with us touching our vehicles daily, since we have to shift them around, every vehicle is being inspected 2 or 3 times a day. So you're not sitting out there with faulty vehicles like our competitors are. The vehicle is inspected and is good to go. So you're working with a well-inspected vehicle before you start riding.
Wonderful. That's great.
All righty. Marcia, do you have a question?
Yeah, I do. And Emil, thank you. I just love your enthusiasm. I love how excited you are about your business. It's great to hear you. I do have some sort of questions on like your strategy. Obviously it's going to take some manpower. Just on physically shifting and moving others around during the day. So, are you looking at this almost like a franchise model? So every city will have sort of a franchisor or a team captain. How are you looking to grow this to other cities?
Sweet. Awesome. Awesome. Great question. So we're currently in five markets right now, and we're looking at growing and expanding with this capital that we're raising. But the franchise is the key. That's what we're looking at, pushing, using our technology, using our vehicles. Since we've already figured it out, we've done the groundwork already. We will look at franchising this in small to mid-sized cities where people are familiar with their city, and that's going to help us expand over the next 2 years and grab that number one, number two spot within the industry.
Perfect. Thank you.
All righty. Tawana, what about you? What would you like to know?
Yeah, so first I want to say congratulations. You set out to make this safe, and with 0 reported accidents, it seems that you did exactly that. So well done to you and your team. I want to talk a little bit to expand on Marcia's question a little bit. Can we talk about what are some of the other partners that you're working with? Are you doing anything with universities? I could see this being useful in that environment. What other areas outside of just like, the city limits are you putting the vehicles and who are you partnering with to do that?
Sweet. Great question. So we actually just launched our first university partnership, and that's with Tarleton State University out in Texas. So we're on our second semester with them. It's been an amazing opportunity, and we're learning so much. So moving forward, we will be looking at rolling out into more universities as well as going into cities. But even in those cities, partnering up with different city holders like arenas or parking lots is also on that roadmap. But right now, our focus is expanding into more cities, expanding into more universities, and building that franchise model out much better.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Fantastic. Emil, we've got a question from Tanya Hales. We're glad she's watching because she's got lots of great questions for our presenters. What are customers saying about comfort, availability, and cost?
Sweet. So with the cost is most definitely going up in all markets. And what we do is we are looking at our competitors, the top leading scooter companies, Bird and Lime, and we just always price up under them. So any market that we operate in, we will be the most affordable option compared to any other shared scooter operator. My goal is to get that cost lowered as much as possible, but right now we are the most affordable. On how comfortable it is, being able to sit down and ride a scooter, you can imagine would be much more comfortable than standing up and riding it because you're sitting down on that seat. And data shows that riding a BOAS, users ride 50% more time, 50% longer than they would standing up on a competitive scooter. So yeah, they love us. We still hear people saying, hey, can we get plush seats, or extra large seats? So we do hear those comments coming in, and it's most definitely on the roadmap.
Fantastic. We've got another question for you from the audience. The question from Gail is, how are you using your scooters to address social justice issues in the communities you serve?
Great question. So really what we do is we really just focus on those equity zones. We focus on those equity zones and partner up with those communities that's in our zip coded areas and get them just affordable rides to be able to move around the city freely as much as possible. And like I mentioned early on about how we leverage our AI technology to shift vehicles around, all throughout the day, we're shifting these vehicles around to these equity zones. And if you're on any type of government assistance, then you're getting half off on your rides. And that's us, trying to even the playing field just a tad bit.
Judges, what other questions do you have for Emil?
Emil, you mentioned you're in 5 markets. Can you share what those markets are?
So Detroit, Michigan is our main market, and shout out to Detroit because the NFL draft is coming up here next month, and Boaz will be on the grounds for that. In Arizona, we're in Tempe, Arizona, Scottsdale, Arizona, and Chandler, Arizona are the three permitted markets that we are in, and where hopefully with this funding, we'll be able to include shared shuttles along with our shared scooters within those three markets, and hopefully bring on two more markets in the Arizona Triad area in 2025. And we're also in Tarleton State University, which I mentioned was our first university partnership, and that's out in Texas as well.
Very nice. Thank you very much. I've got another question also. Of your competition, I believe there may be a few, one or two of them that may be having some financial trouble. I think recently one either talked about closing their doors or did. Is there any plan to figure out how to take that population of customer and make them Boazites?
I absolutely love the way you think. So our expansion plan is based off of our failed competitors, the markets that they pulled out. We lost a real major competitor at the end of 2023. They pulled out about 30 cities. Since they've already done the groundwork for us, which is letting people know about shared scooters, they just didn't run the business correctly. So for us, our aim is to expand into those markets where competitors are struggling or pulling out of, where we can go out there and run efficient business.
Very good. Very good.
I have another question along those lines. As you expand into some of those areas, I'm curious as to what kind of an impact bad weather has on your business, especially in the Northeast, for example, where the weather can get quite nasty during the winter season. Do you see this being a cyclical or seasonal type of business, depending on weather conditions?
Great question. That's a good question, actually. And that's one of the reasons why we ended up launching in Arizona. So when in Detroit, which is our main market, which is where we're headquartered at, when Detroit gets extremely cold and they have ships scooters from one state to another state, so those scooters can still be utilized year round. So no matter what the weather's like, with generating $350 per month per vehicle, it covers any type of cost of moving that vehicle to another state, even if you're only going to operate 6 months within that market.
Okay, that's great.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
We have time for one last question.
Do you have any plans to sell them to individuals, or are you strictly sticking with the shared model?
Yeah. So the shared model covers about 95% of our annual revenue. We do sell them direct to consumers. One vehicle sells for $1,000, which is great. You know, we'll love to sell more, but putting that one vehicle into the shared economy will generate $350 in monthly revenue. So our focus is mainly on the shared economy. We don't do any marketing or advertising to push the sales, but they are available for purchase.
Well, this has been
that makes sense. Recurring revenue.
Great discussion. This is so fun. Emil, thank you very much for presenting. We're excited. I want to remind everybody, you can visit s4g.biz/Boaz right now to invest. And I know we've just heard our last presentation. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to have more fun than we've had all night. Our judges are going to debate about which of the 4 companies gets the judges prize while you vote, all of you in the audience. on who gets the Super Crowd Pick Award. So stick around. You don't want to miss the rest of what's going on tonight.
Hope to raise money from the impact crowd. Good investors are as interested in community, social or environmental impact as you. Connect with Funding Hope, an SEC-registered FINRA member crowdfunding portal to learn how to raise capital from the impact crowd. Scan the QR code now.
Join us for SuperCrowd 24 for 2 full days of wealth and impact creating content at this virtual conference on April 17th and 18th. We'll have 100 speakers and live pitch sessions. Learn how to invest like a pro and raise money from the crowd. Save 50% with the discount code SUPERCROWD at thesupercrowd.com.
You can get in on the ground floor to help fix the climate crisis for as little as $100. Pause now to scan the QR code to get started or visit s4g.biz/raisegreen. You can be a green at Raise Green.
Welcome back, everyone. The fun starts. Are you ready for the fun part? We're really excited. We've had these 4 great presentations, and I think anyone who watched all 4 can agree. They were great presentations. These are great companies. These really look like solid investment opportunities to me, and so I'm excited to share them with you. Right now, you can visit s4g.biz/vote. s4g.biz/vote. It's on the screen there. You can also scan the QR code to vote. So you can vote now. It's really easy. When you pull up the ballot, what you'll see is 4 questions. We want to know which company you want to have win. That's the key thing. And then we want your name and your email address and whether or not you want to be included in our mailing list. You can only vote once per email address, right? So that's why an email is required. We don't want anyone to game the system. So you've got to enter a different email address if you vote more than once. So you've got to have a valid email address in there. So go ahead. You can start voting now, and you can vote for 10 minutes. 10 minutes. And while you're voting now, the judges, led by James Kemp from Kinect Capital, they're going to deliberate on the judge's choice. So, James, take it away. Take away that discussion.
Oh, you might be muted, James.
So sorry about that. Didn't realize that. This is going to be a really difficult decision. All 4 of these businesses are amazing. The thing that I like about each of them is they're not necessarily they're making something that already kind of exists better. As I look at this, the scooters are, from Boaz are, there's been scooters around for quite some time now. And but they took a market that it currently existed and they just made it better, which I thought was fantastic. The same thing goes with Forge, with the farmhouse development. There's a lot of other kind of prefab homes that get built and that, but this one just seems like you figured out the ways to just make it better than any of the other ones that are out there available. Same with the Lilu with the breast pumps and the piggyback network with picking up kids. So it's not like any of these markets were, these aren't net new products per se, but what they've done is they've taken existing businesses, existing categories, and they've come in to just make them better. So they haven't had to create their own market. They've just been able to adjust a product to fit a market better. And to me, that's the fastest method to success when it comes to a startup in that process. So I'll pause for a minute, let all of you guys chime in. But that's my take, is that all 4 of these are really, really good businesses.
Yeah, I agree, James. These are amazing companies. These founders have put in the work, and we're seeing the fruits of that labor. This is very, very difficult. And so the best way I know how to do this is to think about the social impact, right? The lives that are being changed as a result of the businesses, how they may have taken this innovation and they're going to change the landscape for these industries in the future. And so for me, while it's very, very difficult, the two that stand out would be Piggyback Network and Lilu. When I look at the work that they're doing and the work that they're doing for families specifically, they stand out to me. But that doesn't diminish at all what Kelvin's doing to save the family's land and make it profitable, and that's so honorable. And what Boaz is doing to keep people safe, because I've seen one of those accidents too, James, and it wasn't pretty. And so, to now know that you can, safely be on a Boaz bike and not, have a head injury. But this is difficult. This is really difficult. But for me, I would like to start narrowing it down. We've got 6 minutes. It's Lilu and Piggyback are my two finalists.
I'll in here. My first thing I will say was I was so impressed with how professional the presentations were today. How much better they were than when we saw them yesterday. And they took, each of these entrepreneurs took the feedback we gave them and just really, really nailed it tonight. So I would say all four of them completely nailed it. Tawana, I would agree with you in terms of what Kelvin is doing, but it's a very niche, very narrow market he's going to be serving. I think Lilu and Piggyback from a perspective of the impact on a broader market, immediate impact on a much broader scale than the other two. So I would agree with you. I love Boaz. I love his enthusiasm. I really, really want to see him successful. But I think if we're looking at this with tech lens and what's going to affect the market the most, I think Lilu. I think probably Lilu would outrank Piggyback from you and mine.
Yeah, I guess I would say that for me it would be Lilu and Boaz, like I said, there's no way that you can discount really any four of these founders. It's amazing what they're doing. The impact that really all four of these businesses can have is pretty amazing. But I that's who I would choose is probably Lilu first, Boaz second would be my kind of top two.
Yeah, Lilu is very impressive. I think about how important breastfeeding is, right, to the health of a child. There's every scientific study will tell you that. And for so many, they're not able to successfully accomplish it. And there are a lot of different reasons for that. And the fact that Lilu has figured out, I love innovation because it oftentimes is not a very different, right, solution than what's already out there. Oftentimes it's just one small tweak that makes something so much better. And Lilu has figured out that, right? How simple is it? Mothers massage their breasts to help the milk come out. No one ever thought about, well, let's make the device do the massaging, right? Like it's just a very simple solution when you think about it. And it's taken all of these years for someone like Lilu, the Lilu team, to come around and solve the problem. And so I love how simple the solution is, but how it's going to make so much of a difference in the industry. I could see other breast pump companies. I'm glad they've got the patents, because I could see other companies coming and trying to say, well, why didn't we think of that, right? I really see them leading the pack with this product.
Yeah, I have a daughter-in-law that is currently breastfeeding, and it is a difficult process, especially if you do anything outside of the home. If you if there's anything involved, it's and this, maybe this is going too far, but I would say a lot of postpartum challenges that the women have. I've heard people say that I can't even breastfeed my own baby, What kind of a mother am I going to be? I just think there's some phenomenal impact that this product can have. And then when it comes to Boaz, I look at people that are in, especially in those zones where transportation and things are a challenge. I look at people being able to jump on one of those scooters and have the ability to get to where they need to go, to a job interview or to deliver a product or something like that. It's just amazing to me how big of an impact a safe, effective scooter like that can have, getting people to where they need to be. And how many people lose out on opportunities because the bus doesn't go exactly where they need it to go, or their vehicle breaks down at the most inopportune time, and they can't get across town to where they need to be. And that, so it just feels like, but that doesn't diminish the other products as well. It's just those are the two that kind of jump to the forefront for me.
No, that's a good point. I feel that way about piggyback also, right? I feel like how
Yeah.
it's helping families really take care of getting the kids to, I was a single mom and I had a son who wanted to do everything under the sun. None of those things were in the same area of town, right? And so, thinking about parents that need that help to get the children to and from, the same thing, missed opportunities can happen without a service like that. So all of these companies are amazing, right? This is very difficult with 56 seconds to make a choice. This is very, very difficult because all of these companies are winners, in my opinion. They really are.
Yeah.
But I think my vote would have to go for Lee.
I think I'll chime on here on. I think for me, the thumb on the scale with Lulu is they have different parts of their product, right? So they can make money both on the device and also, to your point, James, they can make money on supporting the ecosystem, postpartum depression, really helping. So I think there's that in and of itself, the app piece could be a business that they could spin off or sell data down the road. So I think that for me, that was the thumb on the scale for Lulu.
Yeah, I would say Lilu is the winner. I would say, unless you guys disagree, that was the one that I think we centered on.
Agreed.
And we did it with no time left.
Look at that.
Yep, I agree.
Nice.
That was a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
That was.
Okay, James, I was focused on counting votes. What was the choice? What did the judges choose for the Judges' Choice Award here?
Well, we all had different opinions on a couple of things, but we all centered on Lilu as the top product and company to support. But they're 2, 3, and 4 are all very close. Wonderful products. Wonderful businesses. We wish them all the best, but I think Lilu is the one that the three of us kind of centered on.
Well, fantastic. And we have also tallied the votes, and I am just stunned, amazed, and thrilled by the number of votes we got. We got such a high level of engagement and participation from the audience. It's just really impressive. The great news is we have a clear winner in a close race, and Boaz Bikes wins the Super Crowd Pick Award. So congratulations to you all. I want to bring everybody sort of back in here for a minute, and as we have a chance to thank all of these presenters for their time, and let me be really clear again. I want to reiterate, we've got just a few seconds left here. So I want to emphasize the opportunity that we have tonight to invest in these businesses. Let's be clear. Boaz won the Super Crowd Pick Award. You can invest in them at s4g.biz/Boaz. And Lilu won the Judges Pick Award, and they're at s4g.biz/Lilu. Congratulations. But the opportunity to invest in Forbes remains, right? You can still invest in Forbes Farmhouse Development at s4g.biz s4g.biz/Forbes. And of course, the opportunity to invest in piggyback is there, s4g.biz/piggy. So please, I invite all of you in the audience to take the time. If you haven't invested yet, I invite you to take time tonight to spend a little more time on these websites to see which of these appeal to you as an investor. And if you're a first time investor, I encourage you to dig a little deeper, look a little harder, and see if you can't figure out what makes sense to you as an investor. This really is an exciting opportunity. Again, I want to congratulate everybody. I do want to just note that the Supercrowd Inc. that hosts this show will be hosting Supercrowd 24 on April 17th and 18th. And we'll be having another live pitch at that event. And although we haven't picked the companies to pitch, all four of these businesses have been entered in as candidates for that pitch. So we may see them again soon. We will also be doing, we'll have almost 100 speakers on that program over 2 days. And in addition to the live pitch, all kinds of amazing content and networking opportunities. So if you're an entrepreneur looking to meet investors, an investor looking to meet entrepreneurs, this is a place to go, especially if you are interested in impact, if you're interested in backing social entrepreneurs, backing impact, backing community builders and diverse founders. This is a tremendous opportunity for you. Let me show, I've just on the screen, I've just added the place where you can go. You get 50% off on your tickets. It's for the event. Just visit 4sc.fund/24, 4sc.fund/24. We hope to see all of you there. James, do you have any closing remarks that you'd like to share before we close the session?
I guess what I would like to say is this to me is an example of the impact that entrepreneurs can have. I've said many times in our various events that entrepreneurs are either chemically imbalanced or have some kind of mental issue or something, because why would we put ourselves through this? A lot of people say, why don't you just get a normal job and do a 9-to-5 thing and go home? And this to me is an example of why our society, why America, why capitalism, whatever you want to call it, is successful, is because of people like these that are willing to stick their neck out, take a chance, put their own money and their own time into something, and to see the impact that these folks can have on society, on commerce. It's just amazing to me, and I'm glad that there's a bunch of people kind of like me that are in that, have mental issues or whatever that make it so as that we like to, be in this zone where it's crazy and every day's new and every day's different, and we have all the different challenges and things going against us. I'm grateful for this community. I'm grateful for these four wonderful business owners and their willingness to share their businesses with us. And like I said, I'm having the time of my life. I'm really enjoying being a part of this, not only with Kinect Capital, but just being in this community of founders and entrepreneurs. It's a fantastic thing to watch. And, I wish not only these four all the best, but really every entrepreneur and every founder out there, I wish them the very best, and encourage them to keep plugging and keep getting up every day, trying to figure out a way to make these businesses work.
Well, again, I want to reiterate my appreciation to you, James, for your support with this event. I want to encourage people to visit connectcapital.org, sign up on their newsletter list, or visit s4g.biz/Casey donate. And at the link on the screen, use the QR code if you'd like, and make a donation there to support this great nonprofit that is partnered with us tonight. We also want to thank our other judges, Tawana Rivers of the 10K Project. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful for your participation tonight and all that you've done to help. Marcia, thank you for being here tonight. You're a giant in this space, and we're just thrilled that you would make time to participate in this important discussion. And again, I want to congratulate our participants tonight that we had, especially Kelvin. I want to congratulate you on a great evening tonight. Thank you. Great presentation. You're doing amazing work. And Ishmael, again to you, congratulations on a great pitch and doing great work. We're excited to see you succeed and prosper. And Emil, congratulations on the Super Crowd Award, the Super Crowd Pick Award. We're happy for you and excited about that. And Sujay, double congratulations on the Judges Award. Obviously, you heard the discussion, you heard the debate. You know that was a very close, difficult decision for them, and so congratulations to you. And I want to thank everyone in the audience for being here tonight, for tuning in, and especially, again, I want to reiterate, if I may, just my appreciation to you for being a part of this community, for working hard to make a difference in the world, and encourage you to visit these 4 crowdfunding campaigns on their respective offering sites to see which of these might appeal to you as an investor. So again, thank you everybody for participating. We're thrilled to have had you here tonight. And with that, we'll